Hello everybody. Hi there, my name is Martin, and if you haven't seen me already, I'm on the kind of LEGO Mindstorms display in the main hall. If you've seen these little guys driving around and shooting Coke cans, that's me. Right, so I thought today we'd talk about kind of getting started with LEGO Mindstorms if you've seen it and have not played with it before, or if you've got one and you've opened the box and built something and then thought, what next? Then this is kind of where we're going to go. So just a quick recap. So Mindstorms has been around for quite a long time. It was first introduced in 1994, and the yellow brick was called the RCX. I don't know if anyone's ever seen or heard of one of those, but they were around for quite a while, and they were pretty cool when they first came out. They were, pretty revolutionary. In 2006, LEGO introduced the Mindstorms NXT, and then shortly after, they kind of revised it, called it NXT2, and that was what this box looked like. This ran until 2013, so about this time last year. Now, most of the parts that are in here are still available, and in fact, these sets are still used quite widely in schools. The NXT has been around for some time. It was available as an education set, so it's been around, let's say, for quite a long time, and I know that quite a lot of schools have these. I also know that quite a lot of schools don't know what to do with it, which is a bit of a shame, but they are really cool. There's loads of good stuff in there. And then last year, LEGO introduced the EV3, which is this set here. So this is available also as an education set directly from LEGO, as well as this is the home version. The software that you need is downloadable free of charge from lego.com, but obviously you can't do much with it without a set. So that's kind of a brief history of Mindstorms. The EV3 set, we'll probably get the bad news over straight away. So that's the set number 31313. It really is aged at about age 10 plus. Not because the robots are difficult to build, it's because the programming concepts are a little bit more involved. Its full price is 300 quid. It's not exactly cheap, but it is a pretty amazing, there is a lot of stuff in the box. If you shop around, you can save quite a lot of money. I probably won't make many friends in the LEGO store here, because they're selling it for 300 quid. But yeah, shop around. I bought mine for £208 from Tesco, and had it delivered the next day, and it was all good. So that's the EV3 set. There is only one. The LEGO Mindstorm set is this. There's not a whole range. That's it. In the box, you get the NXT EV3 brick, which is the kind of brains behind the whole thing. There's also an infrared beacon, which can be used as a remote control, and also to kind of emit infrared signals that your robots can track. So there's quite a few things you can do with that. There are two motors. The large motor, there are two large motors, which are pretty powerful. You can get them to move pretty big objects. These things are lightweight compared with some of the things that you can move. So I'm going to cough a bit, I should have bought some water. And the medium-sized motors are also useful in some models, and a lot of the models that you see in the boxes will use those too. The other sensors, this is an infrared receiver at the top, a light and colour sensor and touch as well, so you can incorporate those into models to do various things. There are other kind of sensors and accessories available outside of the regular set. So on the EV3 robot that I've built, I'm using an ultrasonic sensor at the front. That's used, this guy here, that's used to measure distance, and I use that to shoot Coke cans. The gyroscopic sensor is quite good fun. That allows the robot to know whether it's kind of upright or leaning over and stuff like that. So that's really handy if you want to build things like segways, for example. You can make a robot that can stand on two wheels. And lastly, this is something that I've been using, which is the rechargeable batteries, because it does eat through batteries. You can actually put regular kind of rechargeable AAs in there. The rechargeable batteries are really expensive. They're about £70 each, but they are really good. They do work. Excuse me. They do work well. But in terms of actually kind of getting started, there really isn't, there's no easy way to just kind of start programming. If you've done anything else like Scratch programming or Python or anything like that, it is quite easy to get into. But there is still a learning curve to get over. And there really isn't an easy way to go to kind of break into what you need to cover. You do have to invest a bit of time. The bad news is there's no kind of quick fix. You've got to invest a bit of time. I think I might have to get some water on that. I've been talking all day. But for me, I got started by using books like this. This is the Discovery, EV3 Discovery book, which was really excellent. There's amazing, good stuff in there. Prior to that, before the EV3 was out, I was using the NXT Inventor's Guide. That's a really awesome book as well. And also, building the robots themselves, in some cases, is a bit of a different experience. So if you haven't done any kind of Technic building, which is really what you need to do, then I bought the unofficial LEGO Technic Builder's Guide, because that also has got some great tips and kind of techniques for building kind of robot-style models. So those books are really good. But as I say, I don't want to kid you. You do have to invest a little bit of time in this because the programming is not complex. It just takes some time to kind of get your head around and get started. So I would definitely recommend those. I would also recommend, if you're using the EV3, just go to the lego.com website for Mindstorms, because there is some awesome stuff on there. Sorry, there's some really awesome stuff on there too. There are loads of models that other people have submitted, just people like you and me. They've designed a model, they've put the building instructions on here, and they've also put the code that you need to download. To make the robot work. It's also a really good way to understand how someone else's models work, so that you can kind of get your head around how other people have solved the problem. Lastly, I think if you are using the older NXT set, then you can NXT programs is also really good. The NXT programs is also really good. It's excellent to be able to download other people's programs and see how they work. Looking at other people's programs is a great way of understanding how they solve a problem and how you can use it too. I thought I'd talk briefly about a real problem and how I've used both the NXT and the EV3 to find and shoot an object. So if you haven't seen these before, you'll find these on my display down the hall. So the first problem is, if you've got a robot that's looking for an object, but it's clearly not pointing at it, you have to find out where it is. So the first thing it does is kind of starts to rotate to see if it can find an object within its path using this ultrasonic sensor. At some point, you will find that the ultrasonic sensor will report a reading of an object in its path. You'll find an object in its path. So at this point, the robot knows that it can see that an object is coming to view. As it continues to rotate, it will find the right-hand side of the can, in my case, and the sensors on board in the motors can tell you how many times they've rotated in that time, from the left to right. So you've got a kind of a measurement of how wide the object is. The only problem, once you've kind of corrected to be firing at the centre of the can, the shooter is clearly going to fire in a straight line, is going to miss. So the last kind of step of the game here is to correct that, and that's just a kind of simple case of trigonometry. A bit scary that you've got to use maths to do this, but actually that's all it is. We just use some simple maths to work out how to rotate the robot so that the shooter is pointing at the can and not the ultrasonic sensor. I just wanted to finish off by saying, isn't this kind of just playing around, and isn't it just something that you do for fun? In reality, I know that I've been involved in my children's schools, looking at kind of programming from a kind of national curriculum point of view. And if you look at this, I just pulled this out of the national curriculum website. Stuff like logic, algorithms, computation terms, writing programs, that is what we're doing with Mindstorms. So, I do know that lots of schools use this. It really is, I think, quite useful. So, I'm guessing that more and more schools might. I think more and more schools will be using this. Scratch is really popular, Python is really popular, Mindstorms probably should be, and as I say, lots of schools are using it and more will. So I'm really sorry my voice is really all over the place. But if you've got any other questions, either come and see me now, back at my display, and I'll be really happy to talk to you about anything else. Okay? Hope that was useful. Thank you very much.